story because, well, this can happen to you. And it all started with a little girl. When this girl was a very little girl, under the comforts and shadows of the elder oak, and amidst the dances of the leaves and the dandelions, and amidst the whispers of the neighborhood gossip and chimes of the constellations, there was her father, Thomas Woodrow, a burly man with a sharp tongue, a grandiose heart, and a love for science fiction. Now, Thomas Woodrow didn't lead the most righteous lifestyle. He was an alcoholic, an ex-heroin user, and probably an adulterer. But the little girl never knew any of these things as she was a child. She loved her daddy, and well, he loved her too. When he would come home from work, she would take care of him. She would take off his boots, hug him, and give him all the love she could with the child's laughter. Oh, and sometimes she was even his beautician. She would comb his hair to the side and put in barrettes in his ash-colored locks, and then steal the change on the countertop for her services. Well, sometimes the father had nightmares, and all the other members of the household would let him scream in horror, but the little girl would always wake him up. "It's okay, Daddy. I'm here. Wake up. It's okay, I'm here for you." After all, it was the least she could do after all the times he held her when she too was scared. Among the other things a father could do for their child, he attended each of her baseball games, bought her new school clothes, and sang her to sleep. Now, time went on, and the girl grew, and so did the father. However, she ignored the father because as she grew older, he had been coming home later and later, and sometimes not at all. And this made her very sad. Now, time kept going on, and it became very sad for both of them because, well, 2 weeks before he died, the father collapsed at work, and he turned extremely yellow. Jaundice is what they call it. She went to go visit him at the hospital, and he looked very, very ill, and both of her parents had fright in their eye that she could not understand, and she did not want to understand. She went home, and she screamed at God. It was a very big burden to them both. Now, later, he had to go to the emergency room again, and she went to go visit him again, except for this time he was unconscious, still breathing though, and she thought this might be the last time her father would hear her, and so she asked him, "Dad, what's your favorite book? What's your favorite book? What's your favorite book?" Repeatedly, as she did not know. He did not answer her as he did not wake up that day. He was released to hospice care in their home. Now, his dying was apparent to all. He was very sick, but sometimes he would have enough energy to get up to watch the television or go outside and smoke a cigarette, despite the oxygen tank he had to lug around with him or the no smoking sign they were required to put up. One day before he died, Thomas Woodrow only woke up once. The girl had gotten into a nasty argument with her sister, and she was crying. And he woke up, and he held her. Now, the next day, it was Super Bowl Sunday, and everyone was excited for football, except for the little girl, because in her house it was a solemn cave with a dying man. And she went to go tell him good night. "Good night, Daddy." But the father... he was gasping for air as if he was drowning. And it frightened her so, and so she yelled, "Mom! Dad's breathing funny." And she escaped to her bedroom. Now, minutes later, she heard the neighborhood dogs. "Oh! Oh!" A deep, scary, wallowing, purging howl that she had never heard before. And it was in that instant she knew her father had died. Her sister came in a few moments later to confirm the information. window and went to school the next day. Now, children, they say that absence makes the heart grow fonder, and the little girl, now young lady, learned that when that absence is present longer, the even deeper you long for that which is gone. And she's not angry at God anymore. After all, she will die, so will I, and so will all of you. But until that day, some nights when the girl goes to sleep, she can still hear her father singing to her.